You're sitting on a plane, maybe watching a movie or trying to get some sleep before landing. Suddenly, the aircraft begins to shake, the seatbelt sign turns on, and the pilot's voice comes through the speakers. It sounds calm, but if you listen closely, there's a hint of tension. That's never a good sign. A few minutes later, the plane begins descending faster than normal. Through the window, you notice something unexpected, a small island in the middle of the ocean. Then the thing nobody wants to experience actually happens. The plane crash lands onto a sandy beach like a giant metal sled. Sand flies everywhere, metal screeches loudly, and finally everything stops. You're still alive. That's very good news. The slightly less good news is that you are now on a deserted island. No hotels, no phone signal, and definitely no pizza delivery. In a situation like this, the first thing you need to do is stay calm. Panic will not make the plane fly again, and it certainly won't get you off the island any faster. Take a deep breath and check your body, both arms still working, both legs moving. Your head still attached where it belongs. Congratulations, you've just passed step 1 of survival. Next, check yourself carefully for injuries. Small cuts can turn into big problems if they get infected. Look at your arms, legs, and head. A few scratches are normal after a landing that dramatic. But if you can stand up and walk, that's already a very good sign. Now it's time to check the airplane wreckage. It might look scary, but it could be your best source of supplies. Luggage, water bottles, clothing, even seat cushions can be useful. If you find a backpack with snacks and water inside, consider it a gift from the survival gods. After checking the luggage, your biggest priority is water. Humans can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without water. Looking at the ocean might make it seem like water is everywhere. But drinking seawater is a terrible idea. It will actually dehydrate you faster. Instead, you need to find fresh water, and the best place to search on an island is usually inside the jungle. Walk slowly and pay attention to your surroundings. Listen carefully. If you hear the sound of running water, that's probably the most beautiful sound you can hear in a survival situation. Eventually, you discover a small stream flowing between rocks. The water looks clear and refreshing. But don't drink too quickly. If possible, filter or boil it first. If you're extremely thirsty, take small sips. At that moment, the water will taste better than any expensive bottled drink in the world. Now that you have water, the next thing you need is shelter. Sleeping on the beach might sound like a tropical vacation. Until it rains, the wind starts blowing, and mosquitoes decide you are the main course. Use branches and palm leaves to build a simple shelter. It doesn't need to be perfect. As long as it protects you from rain and wind, it's good enough. Remember, you're not building a luxury beach house. Once your shelter is ready, the next important thing is fire. Fire is one of the most powerful survival tools. It keeps you warm, cooks food, boils water, and scares away animals. If you're lucky enough to find a lighter or matches in the luggage, starting a fire becomes much easier. If not, you'll need to use more traditional methods. Start with dry leaves and small sticks, slowly add larger branches as the fire grows. Be patient, fire doesn't like to be rushed. Once the fire is burning steadily, you'll feel a huge sense of relief. A small fire can completely change your mood in a survival situation. Now it's time to think about food. Luckily, islands often provide natural food sources like fish, crabs, and shellfish. Just be careful with unknown plants. Walking along the beach is a smart way to search for food. Under rocks you might find small crabs hiding. They're fast and sometimes a little aggressive. If you manage to catch a crab, congratulations. If the crab catches you instead, well, that's part of the learning experience. Roasting crab over a campfire might not sound like a luxury meal, but in a survival situation, it can taste amazing. Next, you should prepare a signal fire. Stack a large pile of dry wood on the beach so you can light it quickly when needed. You can also build a giant SOS sign using rocks or driftwood. Make it big enough to be seen from the sky. After preparing rescue signals, you might explore the island a little, but always remember your way back. A simple trick is marking your path with sticks or stones. It might look like a strange treasure trail, but it works. When you return to camp, improve your shelter by adding more palm leaves for better protection. At night, the jungle becomes dark and full of strange sounds, but most of those noises are harmless. Keeping the fire burning through the night is a good idea. It provides warmth and comfort. The next morning, check your water supply and fire. These daily tasks are essential for survival. Walking along the beach again might reveal useful items brought in by the waves. Sometimes the ocean delivers unexpected gifts like driftwood or tools. Always keep an eye on the sky. If a plane flies overhead, you must be ready. That's why your signal fire should always be prepared and ready to light. One day, you suddenly hear the distant sound of an airplane engine. You quickly light the signal fire and create a large column of smoke. You wave your arms and stand near the smoke signal. For a moment, you're not sure if the plane sees you. Then the plane circles back over the island. That's a very good sign. A few hours later, you see a rescue boat approaching the shore. The rescue team arrives and finally your survival story reaches its ending. You step onto the boat and look back at the island. The island slowly disappears behind you as the boat sails away. And that's how you survive a plane crash on a deserted island. Hopefully you never need these skills. But if you do, remember, stay calm, find water, build shelter, and always create rescue signals. And if possible, try not to get pinched by crabs again.